Love is All You Truly Need by David Russo. What if the one thing humanity has been searching for throughout history has been in front of us all along? We chase money, success, knowledge, recognition, power, possessions, and experiences because we believe reaching the next level will finally make us feel complete. Yet, people can achieve nearly everything they once dreamed about and still discover an emptiness that accomplishment alone cannot fill. Perhaps the problem is not that these things have no value, but that they were never meant to carry the entire weight of a meaningful life. What if beneath our desire to be successful, respected, secure, understood, and remembered lies an even deeper desire to love and to know that we are loved? What if love is not simply one part of life, but the quality that gives every other part its meaning? Introduction: the one thing that changes everything. Love has inspired some of humanity's greatest works of art, shaped families and civilizations, healed broken relationships, and motivated extraordinary acts of courage and sacrifice. Across cultures and centuries, philosophers, poets, spiritual teachers, scientists, parents, friends, and ordinary people have attempted to understand something that seems both incredibly simple and endlessly mysterious. We recognize love when someone stays beside us during hardship, when a parent protects a child, when strangers help one another after tragedy, or when forgiveness becomes stronger than resentment. Love appears in countless forms, yet its importance seems remarkably consistent. This audiobook explores love not merely as romance or emotion, but as a way of relating to ourselves, other people, and life itself. We will consider psychology, science, spirituality, relationships, suffering, purpose, kindness, and the future of humanity. The claim that love is all you truly need does not mean that food, shelter, health, security, opportunity, and material necessities are unimportant. It means that once we examine what makes those things worth having, we repeatedly return to connection, belonging, compassion, and meaning. Perhaps love does not replace everything else we need. Perhaps love is what tells us why everything else matters. Chapter 1: Humanity's Endless Search. Human beings are natural seekers. From childhood onward, we are encouraged to move towards something: better grades, greater skills, stronger relationships, more money, higher status, greater comfort, or another achievement. There is nothing inherently wrong with ambition. Progress has created medicine, technology, art, education, transportation, and countless improvements in human life. But a strange thing can happen when achievement becomes our primary measurement of fulfillment. Every destination eventually becomes ordinary, and another destination appears beyond it. This helps explain why success does not automatically create happiness. A person can possess wealth without companionship, recognition without inner peace, and influence without knowing whom they can trust. Even tremendous accomplishments can feel strangely empty when there is no one meaningful with whom to share them. Meanwhile, someone with comparatively little can sometimes experience tremendous richness through family, friendship, community, gratitude, and connection. Material circumstances matter, but they do not tell the complete story of a person's inner life. Perhaps many of the things we pursue are indirectly connected to love. We may want money partially because we want security for ourselves and those we care about. We may want recognition because we want to feel valued. We may seek relationships because we want connection. We may build something because we want to contribute or leave something meaningful behind. Beneath countless human desires is the wish to matter, to ourselves, to someone else, or to the world. When we follow that desire deeply enough, we often arrive at love. Chapter 2. What love really is. Love is one of the most frequently used words in human language, yet it can describe dramatically different experiences. Attraction can feel like love. Desire can resemble love. Attachment can convince us that we cannot live without another person. Infatuation can create powerful emotions that seem permanent until circumstances change. These experiences are real, but mature love reaches beyond the intensity of a feeling. Feelings rise and fall. Love becomes most meaningful when it survives those changes. Love can therefore be understood partially as a practice. It appears in listening when we would rather speak, remaining patient when someone is struggling, telling the truth when dishonesty would be easier, and respecting another person's freedom rather than attempting to control them. Sometimes love is warm and affectionate. At other times, love requires boundaries, difficult conversations, distance, or the courage to say no. Genuine love does not demand that we tolerate harm. Compassion without wisdom can become self-neglect, just as wisdom without compassion can become coldness. This makes love far more demanding than simply feeling positively toward another person. Love asks us to recognize another human being as possessing an inner world as real and complicated as our own. Their fears matter to them. Their dreams matter to them. Their pain feels personal because it is personal. When we truly understand this, love becomes a way of seeing. We stop treating people merely as characters in our own story and begin recognizing that every person is living a story of their own. Chapter 3. Loving yourself without selfishness. One of the most misunderstood forms of love is self-love. It can sound like self-importance, but genuine self-love is almost the opposite. It means recognizing your worth without needing to believe you are superior to anyone else. It means respecting your limitations, caring for your physical and emotional needs, acknowledging mistakes without turning those mistakes into your identity, and refusing to speak to yourself with a cruelty you would never direct towards someone you love. Many people carry an internal voice far harsher than anything they would say aloud. A mistake becomes, "I always fail." Rejection becomes, "There must be something wrong with me." An imperfect decision becomes evidence that we should have known everything before we had the experience necessary to know it. Self-compassion does not remove accountability. It creates the emotional space in which accountability can actually become useful. Instead of endlessly punishing ourselves for yesterday, we can learn from yesterday and make a better decision today. The way we treat ourselves can eventually influence the way we treat everyone around us. Someone constantly at war internally may find it difficult to offer patience externally. When we learn to forgive ourselves, we may become less eager to condemn others. When we understand our own imperfections, another person's imperfections become easier to comprehend. Self-love, therefore, does not have to close us inward. Practiced wisely, it can expand outward, becoming the foundation from which healthier love for others becomes possible. Chapter 4. Love as the greatest teacher. Relationships reveal things about us that solitude often cannot. It is easy to imagine ourselves as patient until someone tests our patience. It is easy to believe we have conquered jealousy until something awakens it. We may think we are excellent listeners until someone tells us that we never truly hear them. Love brings another human being close enough to expose both our beauty and our unfinished places. Conflict, therefore, does not automatically mean that love has failed. Sometimes conflict becomes one of love's classrooms. Disagreements can teach communication. Disappointment can reveal unrealistic expectations. Hurt can expose unresolved wounds. The question is not whether people who love one another will ever experience conflict. They will. The deeper question is what they do with it. Do they use disagreement as ammunition or as information? Forgiveness becomes especially important here. Forgiveness does not require pretending that harmful behavior was acceptable, nor does it always require reconciliation. It means refusing to allow resentment to indefinitely control our inner world. Patience, empathy, accountability, and boundaries can exist together. Love teaches us that another person can be imperfect and valuable simultaneously, and eventually we realize the same is true of ourselves. Chapter 5: The Science of Love. Love may feel poetic, but human connection also has measurable biological dimensions. Our brains and bodies are built for social interaction. Affection, trust, bonding, companionship, and supportive relationships involve complex networks of hormones, neurotransmitters, memory, emotion, and behavior. Human beings do not simply enjoy connection as an optional luxury. From infancy onward, relationships play an important role in development and well-being. Research on social connection has repeatedly associated strong relationships with better health and greater well-being, while prolonged loneliness and social isolation are associated with significant health risks. This does not mean love is a magical medicine or that relationships guarantee health. It means something more grounded. The quality of our social world can interact with stress, behavior, emotional regulation, and physical well-being in meaningful ways. The person who listens to us, checks in on us, encourages us, or simply sits beside us may be doing more than making a pleasant gesture. Kindness can affect the giver as well as the receiver. Helping another person can create purpose, strengthen social bonds, and move attention beyond our immediate concerns. Science cannot measure every dimension of what humans mean when they use the word love, and it cannot settle philosophical or spiritual questions about love's ultimate nature, but it can demonstrate something important. Connection is not merely sentimental. It is deeply woven into the human experience. Chapter 6: Love Across Spiritual Traditions. Across many of the world's spiritual and philosophical traditions, love appears in different languages and forms. Christianity places extraordinary emphasis on love of God and neighbor. Buddhist traditions cultivate compassion and loving kindness toward living beings. Hindu traditions contain paths of devotion in which love becomes a means of approaching the divine. Jewish teachings emphasize love, justice, responsibility, and care for one's neighbor, while Islamic traditions speak deeply about mercy, compassion, charity, and love of God. The traditions are not identical, but their recurring emphasis on compassion is striking. Spiritual love frequently asks something difficult of the individual. Expand the circle. Loving family and friends may come naturally because emotional bonds already exist. The greater challenge is extending compassion toward the stranger, the outsider, the person who believes differently, and sometimes even the person who has offended us. This does not require agreement with everyone. It asks whether disagreement must destroy our recognition of another person's humanity. Perhaps this is why love is so frequently connected with spiritual growth. It forces us beyond the boundaries of the isolated self. Whether someone interprets this religiously, spiritually, philosophically, or psychologically, The movement is similar, from me toward we. Love reminds us that our lives overlap. Our actions travel beyond us. And the more deeply we recognize our connection with others, the harder it becomes to believe that only our own well-being matters. Hello, this is David Russo. When I think about all the things that have been said about love, I realize how many different ways people have tried to describe it. We hear that love is in the air. We're told to love thy neighbor. We've heard that love is all you need, and even that love is a battlefield. Throughout history, people have tried to put their finger on exactly what love is and what it represents. But maybe that's part of what makes love so difficult to define. We can describe it, write about it, sing about it, study it, and try to explain it. But I think ultimately love comes from the heart. Maybe love is something we understand most deeply, not when someone explains it to us, but when we actually feel it, give it, and receive it. Chapter 7, Love in Times of Suffering. Love becomes especially visible when life becomes difficult. During comfortable periods, it can be easy to assume relationships will always be there. Hardships changes the picture. Illness, grief, financial difficulty, disappointment, failure, and uncertainty reveal who remains present when there is nothing glamorous to gain. Sometimes the greatest expression of love is simply refusing to abandon someone in the moment they feel most alone. Suffering also reminds us that love cannot protect us from every painful experience. Loving someone means accepting vulnerability. Anyone we deeply care about can disappoint us, change, struggle, or eventually leave our lives. Yet the possibility of loss does not make love meaningless. In many ways, it makes love more precious. We value moments partially because they do not last forever. Knowing that time is limited can make an ordinary conversation, shared meal, embrace, or goodbye suddenly feel sacred. During the darkest periods of life, love may not arrive as a dramatic solution. Sometimes it appears as a phone call, a hand on a shoulder, food brought to someone's home, a message asking, "How are you doing?" or quiet companionship when words are inadequate. These acts may not remove suffering, but they change the experience of suffering. Pain carried alone and pain carried beside someone who cares are not always the same burden. Chapter 8, Loving Beyond Differences. Human beings naturally organize themselves into groups. Nationality, religion, politics, race, culture, language, class, generation, and countless other identities can create belonging, but they can also create separation. Once someone becomes one of them, it becomes easier to reduce a complicated human being to a category. We begin responding to labels rather than people. Love offers another possibility. It asks us to become curious before becoming certain. Listening does not mean surrendering our beliefs, and empathy does not require agreement. We can strongly oppose someone's ideas while attempting to understand the experiences that shape them. We can defend principles while refusing to dehumanize the person on the other side. Respect becomes especially meaningful when it survives disagreement. A society cannot eliminate every difference, nor should it try. Diversity of experience and thought can contribute to creativity, learning, and progress. The challenge is discovering how people can remain different without treating difference as a threat. Love does not erase boundaries or disagreement. It creates enough humanity between us that those differences do not automatically become hatred. Sometimes building a bridge begins with the simple decision to see a person before seeing a category. Chapter 9. Love and Purpose. People frequently search for purpose as though there must be one hidden mission waiting to be discovered. Perhaps purpose is sometimes less mysterious. It may emerge whenever our abilities meet someone else's needs. A teacher helps a student understand. A parent raises a child. A nurse comforts a patient. An artist gives expression to feelings others cannot articulate. A friend stays when everyone else leaves. Meaning can appear wherever our existence improves another person's experience of being alive. This helps explain why contribution can be so fulfilling. Accumulation asks, what can I acquire? Contribution asks, what can I give? Both have places in life. We need resources and security, but accumulation eventually encounters limits. There is always another possession, another number, another level. Contribution creates a different measurement of success, whether something is better because we were here. Purpose does not have to require worldwide recognition. Most lives are transformed through interactions that never become famous. A sentence of encouragement can alter someone's direction. A parent may influence generations they will never meet. A teacher may never know what a student eventually accomplishes. Love teaches us that significance and visibility are not the same thing. Some of the most important things we ever do may happen when nobody is watching. Chapter 10. The Ripple Effect of Kindness. We often underestimate small acts because we cannot see where their effects end. Hold a door for someone and the moment disappears. Offer encouragement and you may never learn whether the person remembered it. Treat a struggling stranger with dignity and you probably will not witness what happens afterward. Yet human behavior can spread through relationships. The emotional atmosphere we create around ourselves affects people, and those people carry something from the interaction into whatever comes next. Kindness becomes powerful precisely because it is available almost everywhere. We do not need wealth to listen. We do not need influence to offer encouragement. We do not need a title to treat someone with respect. Love becomes practical when it enters ordinary moments. How we speak to service workers, how we respond when someone makes a mistake, how carefully we listen, how quickly we express gratitude, and whether we notice someone who appears forgotten. Imagine measuring a day not only by what you accomplish, but by what people experience because they encountered you. Did they feel respected, encouraged, heard? Did your presence make their burden slightly heavier or slightly lighter? We cannot control every effect we have, but we can choose the intention behind our behavior. A life guided by love is built through thousands of seemingly insignificant decisions that gradually become a way of being. Chapter 11. Love and the Future of Humanity. Humanity is entering an era in which technology may become increasingly capable of performing tasks once thought uniquely human. Artificial intelligence can generate language and images. Machines can automate physical labor, and digital systems connect people across enormous distances. These developments may bring extraordinary benefits, but they also raise an important question. As technology becomes more capable, which human qualities will become even more important? Perhaps compassion, emotional intelligence, wisdom, responsibility, and genuine human connection will become more valuable rather than less. Technology can transmit a message, but people determine what the message means. An algorithm can help identify patterns, but human beings still confront questions about values, responsibility, dignity, and how technology should be used. Progress is not merely a question of what humanity becomes capable of doing. It is also a question of what humanity chooses to do with those capabilities. The future, therefore, may depend not only on intelligence, but on the values guiding intelligence. Greater technological power without corresponding wisdom could magnify division, manipulation, and harm. The same power guided toward education, health, accessibility, understanding, and human flourishing could improve countless lives. Perhaps humanity's greatest challenge will not be creating smaller machines. It will be becoming wise enough to ensure the greater power remains connected to human dignity and care. Chapter 12. Living a Life Guided by Love. If love matters this much, it cannot remain merely an idea. It has to enter the ordinary decisions of everyday life. Living through love does not mean feeling loving every second. It means repeatedly asking what compassion, wisdom, courage, and respect require in the situation before us. Sometimes that means giving. Sometimes it means forgiving. Sometimes it means apologizing. Sometimes it means walking away from something harmful. Love is not always the easiest choice, but it can become a compass. Like any practice, love can become habitual. Gratitude trains us to notice what we appreciate before it disappears. Forgiveness prevents yesterday's wounds from occupying every tomorrow. Generosity loosens the instinct to measure life only by what we possess. Compassion teaches us to recognize pain beyond our own. Presence reminds us that people need more than our proximity. Sometimes they need our undivided attention. These small practices gradually shape character. Eventually, the question becomes what kind of legacy we want to create. Possessions will change hands. Titles will belong to someone else. Achievements may be remembered for a while and eventually forgotten. But something of us can continue through the people we influence. The patience we showed may become the patience they show someone else. The confidence we gave a child may shape the adult that the child becomes. Love can travel farther into the future than we will ever personally see. Conclusion. The greatest thing you can leave behind. At the end of life, the scoreboard can suddenly look very different. Money matters because it provides security and opportunity. But there eventually comes a point when another number cannot replace another moment. Possessions can provide comfort, but they cannot sit beside us and remember the life we lived. Status can make people recognize our name without guaranteeing that anyone truly knows us. When the unnecessary layers are stripped away, relationships, memories, kindness, forgiveness, and love often become some of the things we treasure most. Perhaps saying that love is all you truly need is not a rejection of ambition, achievement, knowledge, wealth, or progress. It is an invitation to put them in their proper place. Build something extraordinary, but remember whom you are building it for. Become successful, but do not become so busy succeeding that you lose the people with whom you hope to share the success. Learn everything you can, but allow knowledge to deepen compassion rather than inflate ego. Pursue your dreams, but remember that reaching the destination means little if you have forgotten how to love along the journey. One day, every possession we protected will belong to someone else. Every title beside our name will disappear. The world will continue moving, and eventually, even many of our accomplishments may fade from memory. But the love we gave can continue through people. It can survive in lessons passed from parents to children, kindness carried from one stranger to another, forgiveness that ends an old cycle, and courage awakened because someone once believed in us. Maybe love cannot give us everything we want. Maybe it cannot prevent every loss, answer every mystery, or remove every hardship. but it can give meaning to what we have, strength to what we endure, and purpose to what we leave behind. And perhaps that is why, beneath everything else humanity spends a lifetime searching for, love is all you truly need.